With a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about the new Demise and Ruin ritual support coming out of Cybernetic Horizon. So there's just been a bunch of stuff that's dropped for this quote-unquote archetype. If you guys don't know about anything about these two cards, they're very powerful ritual monsters. Ruin is less so than Demise. Demise has had an entire FTK purposely built around him, and it actually was pretty successful. Of an FTK. So without any further ado, we're just going to go over the cards that are here. There are, I believe, 7 cards, so let's just jump right into it. So the first card we have here is Demise Supreme, King of Armageddon. He's a level 10 Dark Fiend Ritual Effect monster with 3,000 attack and 3,000 defense, and you can ritual summon this card with Endless of the World, which we'll talk about in a second. The first effect is this card is treated as Demise, King of Armageddon while it is in the hand or on the field. So basically, it's just Demise returning, which is really good. The second effect is while this ritual summoned card is in the monster zone, ritual monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. That's a pretty good effect, but you're not going to be killing this card by battle. More than likely, by the way that the stats are lined up, you're probably just going to be just trying to kill it with the card effects anyway, but it does protect some of the other cards in your ritual deck if you're playing other rituals. If this was like a Necros deck, or if this card was a Necros card, it'd be absolutely insane, by the way, just by that stature alone. The third effect is if this card was ritual summoned using only ritual monsters, you do not have to pay life points to activate this card's effect, which reads as follows. Once per turn, you could pay 2,000 life points to destroy as many other cards on the field as possible, and if you do, inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each destroyed card they controlled. This is absolutely an insane effect, especially since you don't have to pay for it. You just simply activate it, destroy everything, and then your opponent takes a bit of burn damage for everything that was destroyed, for everything that they control. That's really insane. And it's cards, so it's not monsters. It's both spells and traps and monsters. So it's really good for this effect. The destruction effect is insane. Yeah, we're gonna move on to Ruin, Graceful Queen of Oblivion. She's a level 10 light fairy ritual effect monster with 2,900 attack and 3,000 defense. You can ritual summon this card with Endless of the World. This one, like the other one, has 4 effects. The first effect is this card is treated as Ruin, Queen of Oblivion while this card is in your hand or on the field. It's pretty standard. The second effect is when this card is ritual summoned, or when this ritual summon card is in the monster zone, ritual monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. I think for that alone, you probably will play 1, maybe 2 copies of it, simply because of the fact that it prevents your monsters from being destroyed by card effects. So let's just move on. The third effect is if this card was ritual summoned using only ritual monsters, it can make a second attack during each battle phase. I guess that's okay. The fourth effect is if this card is destroyed if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to that destroyed monster's original attack. So it kind of has the stupid the elemental hero, whatever that guy's name is. Whatever his name is, it doesn't matter. That effect where you just burn damage every time that kills a monster, which is not a terrible effect. I just wish the card did more. Like if it had a destruction effect, kind of like Armageddon. I know why they couldn't do that, but obviously defending here, Ruin is worse than Demise. But that being said, you might play like 1 or 2 just for the simple fact that this card protects your ritual monsters from card effects. So in that aspect, I'm willing to give it a pass for the last effect. So yeah, we're gonna move on. They actually got 2 level 4 monsters. The first one is called Demise, Fiend of Armageddon. Level 4 Dark Ritual Fiend Effect Monster, 1,800 attack, 1,000 defense. You can ritual summon this card with End of the World like the other ones. This one has 3 effects. The first card is it's treated as Demise, and we're going to assume that the Ruin one is treated as Ruin, and we're going to move on to these 2 effects. If this card is ritual summoned, destroy 1 face-up monster on the field. This is really good simply because it's non-targeting. Sure, it destroys, but that doesn't matter. It's not targeting. Non-targeting removal is always good. The third effect is if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one ritual monster you control while that monster is face up on the field. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to your ritual monster's effects activations. Which is really good, because that means if you send this card to the graveyard using Endless of the World to summon Demise, the big guy, your opponent can't stop your opponent cannot stop you from blowing up their board without paying 2,000 life points, which is absolutely insane. So this card is really good. I think you play in the deck, you play 3 of it. It's pretty good. And we have here, if we can scroll down properly, we have Ruin, Angel of Oblivion, level 4, Light Fairy, Electrical Effect Monster with 1700 attack and 1000 defense. And again, you can still summon this card with the Endless of the World, which we'll talk about in a second. Since we already know it's counted as Ruin, we're going to skip that part. The second effect is, if this card is ritual summon, activate this effect. This turn, this card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. That's not particularly good, considering the fact that this card is only 1700. Like, if this card had a more substantial attack, like 2200 or 2400, I could definitely see that effect wreaking in some benefits, but at the current state that it's in, I don't think it will actually do that. The third effect is if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up ritual monster you control while that monster is face-up on the field. When a ritual monster you control declares an attack, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. That's not particularly good either. Again, you're probably going to play one of this card. If you're playing like the Demise Ruin kind of thing, and I actually suggest you just go full Demise, because Demise seems like it has the better cards here. That being said, I still like these cards. They're kind of cool. But I just don't think that the third effect here is going to be practical too much. So it is very good if you're playing like a casual game and your opponent's playing a lot of Battle Faders and so Scarecrows. So maybe that's not really worth it. The field spell is called Break of the World. It has 2 effects, once per turn. You can target one ritual monster you control, reveal one ritual monster in your hand, and if you do, for the rest of the turn, keep it revealed and have its level become the targeted monster's level. It's pretty good. Level manipulation is pretty decent, especially since in the case of the ritual spell, which I've read before, it allows you to exceed the level of the monster. So if you're just going to try to go for like a level 10, you could just have like the level 4. You could just reveal the level 10 in your hand and make it like level 14, I guess, but I guess it'll just be like 12. And then you could just ritual summon the level 10 guy, and that just be on your way. It's a pretty good effect. So we're just going to move on. The second effect is once per turn, if Ruin, Queen of Oblivions, or Demise, Kings of Armageddons, or ritual summon to the field, you can activate one of these effects. You could draw 1 card or destroy 1 card on the field. The destruction effect is also not targeting, as far as I know, but drawing cards, if you summon 2 Demises, you're in a pretty good shape, I think, for drawing 2 cards. You kind of just mitigate the cost of ritual summoning altogether, and having the ability to summon more Demises is pretty good. I think that if they made like some monsters that are just like not that are Demise and they're not ritual monsters, this card might actually be really insane. But we'll have to wait and see what they're going to push with this archetype, because it seems like they're trying to make ritual summoning a lot easier, at least as far as Demise and Ruin goes. The ritual spell is Endless of the World. You can use this to ritual summon Ruin, Queen of Armageddon, or Oblivion, and Demise, King of Armageddon. Has 2 effects. The first effect, tribute monsters you control whose total level is equal or exceeds the level of the Ruin, Queen of Oblivion, or Demise, King of Armageddon. You ritual summon, and after that, ritual summon it from your hand. So that's pretty good. Basically, it does what I said it did. It allows you to exceed the level of the monster that you're trying to set ritual summon with it. The second effect is during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you could shuffle this card from your graveyard into the deck and add 1 End of the World. I guess that's what, or End of the World from your deck to your hand. That's the other ritual spell. Then you could target 1, or then you can add 1 Ruin or 1 Demise from your graveyard to your hand. So it's basically just both of those things. Both of these effects are really good. The second effect is really, really good because it allows you to search out it's kind of like a miniature pre-prep in a card that's really built in the archetype, and that's really good. And it's not searchable, but it is pretty good that you can just search out the other ritual spell and just go on with that. So and we're going to talk about the last card here. We're not going to talk about those two cards yet today, but we're going to talk about Return of the World. It is a continuous trap card. I'm not particularly fond of ritual-based trap cards, but we'll just take it with a grain of salt and see what it does. You go and activate the effects among the first and second effects with this card's name per turn, and only once that turn. I don't know why they just can't say you can only activate each of this card's effects once per turn. It would save a lot of time, and they wouldn't have to do the mental gymnastics just to read it. The first effect is when this card resolves, banish one ritual monster from your deck. I don't know what that's meant to be. I don't know what it's for. I guess there's some synergy maybe somewhere with that. The second effect is if this card, you can send this card to the graveyard, activate one of these effects, ritual summon a ritual monster banished by this card's first effect, either by attributing one monster from your hand whose level equals or exceeds the banished monster, or by shuffling into the deck one ritual monster from your graveyard whose level equals or exceeds the monster. I can kind of see why you could play this card as a one-of. But that being said, I don't think it's that strong. Having the ability to recoup some of the losses from your ritual summons is not bad, though I would probably suggest that this was going to be any card at all. I think it would best be as a spell, not a trap, though. This seems like it would be a perfect spell effect for the archetype, and it would actually make the card a lot better. You might actually see it played. But in this card, I don't think so. And the second bullet point here is add the monster banished that is the card's effect to your hand. I guess that's okay. I think the first one is much better than the second one. You're probably going to be doing the first one much more often than the second one, because just ritual summoning it is better than having it in your hand. It's kind of just a dead card at that point if you don't have a card to summon it with. So I mean, this card's not very good in my opinion, but it is. If it was a spell, it'd be actually really good. It'd be pretty decent. You might actually see it being played, but I don't think in this current state you probably will only see it as a one-of, if that. And people probably won't even play it at all if this is actually going to take off. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. I will see you guys in the next video. This has been Shit on the Lance signing out.